Hi everyone, I'm Brenda Winkle here in Boise, Idaho, here with today's Thursday tip. Today's topic is taken from my blog post from this past Monday, and the topic is 5 steps to better self-care. So for many of us, we find that self-care is difficult. Some of us find it nearly impossible, and yet it's so important. We'll find ourselves actually more productive, more happy, more patient, more present, more grounded, if we find a way to take better care of ourselves. So I'm sure you've heard the flight attendants say during your flight that you need to place your oxygen mask on yourself before helping others. This is so true. And the reason is, if you're unconscious because you have no oxygen, there's no way you can help someone else. The same is true in your life. If you are not taking care of yourself, you can't help the people around you, the people that you love, even the people that you work with. I have 5 simple tips to help you work through some of the blocks that might be stopping you from taking good care of yourselves. And I hope that they will help you. Now, before I get started, I just want to tell you that these have come from my personal experience. This is not something I was born knowing. This is something I really had to grapple with. And like many of us that are in our, let's say, 40s or so, or older, most of us were raised by people who were experiencing for the very first time what it's like to manage a 2-income family household, or we were being raised in rising inflation rates where one person was the primary earner and the other person was the homemaker. In either case, our parents dealt with a high amount of stress. They were considered the first generation to either have it all, the work and the home, or the first generation to have to do it all. And so most of us were not raised with really good examples of how to take good care of ourselves because our parents were figuring it out too. So I found that I was feeling guilty and I didn't take care of myself. When I became a single mom in 2007, I had a 5-year-old daughter and was not taking great care of myself. I was telling myself that I was being the good mom to her, so I needed to work all day and then come home and take care of the house and take care of her, and she would go to bed and I would continue to work on the house, and this went on for a period of time. I had a break every other weekend for the first year that I was a single mom, and then my daughter's dad moved out of state. When that happened, I became a full-time single parent with no breaks, no reprieve, and what I was doing no longer worked. In fact, I found myself so sick at one point that my daughter and I both had to go move in with my parents so that they could help take care of us. Not ideal, but I did learn my lesson. And so the tips that I'm sharing with you today, I have found to be very, very helpful in reframing my thinking and reframing my patterns, and I hope that you'll find them helpful as well. Tip number 1, set an appointment with yourself every single day to do something that fills you with joy, that nurtures your soul, that gives you a break. Whatever it is, make it an appointment. Make it a non-negotiable appointment. For me, it's walking. Every day I come home from my school job and I walk with my daughter and the dogs. And it's just non-negotiable. It happens every day. It's built into the schedule. We book appointments around it as much as we can. And it just happens every day because it's in the calendar. So setting an appointment for whatever it is that brings you joy will make a huge difference in your willingness and ability to keep that appointment with yourself. You are important. And if you don't treat yourself like the important person that you are, everyone else's agendas will end up coming first. So you have to protect that time, whether it's sitting in the bathtub or reading a book or going for a walk or sitting down to a delicious dinner with your family. Whatever it is important because it's important to you. Step number 2, you think you can't get out of your house because you're family? I get it. I've been there. I thought the same thing. When I first became a single parent and was trying to juggle all of the responsibilities that come with owning a home and being a parent and being a contributing member of society, I used my family as an excuse for the reasons I couldn't take care of myself until that time when I ended up so sick. Since then, I have decided that I am a better parent, a better employee, a better business owner, a better person if I take time for myself. Sometimes we have to think out of the box and figure out ways to either include our family in what we're doing, or we have to think out of the box and find really creative ways to problem solve to make something happen. I encourage you just to be creative. Tip number 3, change the way that you think about self-care. So you probably wouldn't let someone talk you out of eating your lunch or your dinner. At least I hope you wouldn't. And if you would, then that's an issue that I would lovingly invite you to seek some professional help on. But most of us would not allow someone to talk us out of eating. Don't let anyone talk you out of caring for yourself. This includes getting good rest, drinking plenty of water, using the restroom when you need to use the restroom, eating healthy food, and then the other things that care for your soul, that nurture your spirit. Those are also important for your self-care, because without taking good care of yourself and your spirit and your soul and your heart and your mind, you don't have anything left to give to your family. So reframe the way you think about self-care. It is not optional. It is not something that you can do if you have the time or if you have the money or if the kids are old enough. It's something you need to be doing right now because it's going to improve every single area of your life. I promise. Tip number 4. A lot of us use our families as excuses for reasons why we can't take better care of ourselves. I've done that. I imagine you have too. And we addressed this briefly earlier in this video. But I just want to let you think about something. When I first started taking really good care of myself, my daughter wasn't very supportive. She really wanted me to be home with her. But I had decided that one of my self-care things would be that I would go to a yoga class every single week, no matter what. And so I booked a babysitter that cost more than my yoga class, and I went to yoga every week. And that lasted for 5 years. It's only been in the last 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, that she's been old enough that she can stay home while I go to yoga, and everything has changed. But don't let your family be the reason why you don't take care of yourself. Let your family be the reason why you do take care of yourself. Since I have developed a yoga practice, and you may not develop a yoga practice, maybe you develop something else, but whatever it is that you develop that brings you joy, brings you peace, brings you happiness, you're making an example out of yourself. You're modeling for your family good self-care. If you don't take care of yourself, the people around you won't know that that's important. Your children won't know that that's important. And you wouldn't want them to be martyrs either, right? So you have to reframe the way you think about it. You're setting an example. You're being a role model for taking good care of yourself. It's important, and you're worth it. Now, if I go more than 4 or 5 days without a yoga class, my daughter asks me to go to yoga. She says, "Mom, you're kind of grouchy. I think you should go to yoga." And I think that you'll find the same thing to be true, that your family will see the difference that taking good care of yourself makes in you, and they'll want you to have more of it. Tip number 5. If you've been doing whatever it is that you've been doing for a long time, your family might have some adjusting to do. And if that's the case, call a family meeting and ask for your family's support. Explain to them why you need to make the changes. Explain to them what you think the payoff for them will be. A happier, kinder, nicer, more balanced, more grounded, more present you is the payoff for them. And ask for their help. Ask for their input. And once we explain things to our families want us to be happy. And they'll help you. They'll support you. They may not buy in completely right away. They might sort of agree just to appease you. And that's okay. The full buy-in might come later down the road. Either way, your family will be behind you. Tip number 5. If you've been doing whatever it is that you've been doing for a long time, it might take some adjusting. You might not be able to institute all of the changes that are on your wish list right away. One of the things you should do first, or that I have done first and found it worked for me, was I set up a family meeting to just discuss with my daughter why I needed to do some of the things that I'm doing to take care of myself and explain what the benefit to her would be. The benefit to her would be I would be more present, more grounded, more peaceful, more happy, and role modeling to her that it's okay to be a mom and take care of yourself. It's okay to be a teacher and take care of yourself. It's okay to do whatever it is you do in your day job and take care of yourself. So I invite you to invite your family to join in the support of your efforts for new self-care. It may not happen right away. It won't probably happen overnight, but that will really start the process up nicely and smoothly. And the more you communicate with your family and the more that they see how this is helping you, the more supportive that they will be. I hope this has been of service to you and is something that you can use. If so, I would love to have you share this with other people. My goal is simply to spread love and light everywhere. And I hope that these Thursday tips and the Monday blog posts are helpful and useful to you. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, I invite you to do that. I'm at brendawinkle.com, and you can sign up for my newsletter right at the bottom of my blog post. I'm on Facebook as facebook.com/brendawinkle.inspiration.coach. I'm on Twitter as twitter.com/BrendaJWinkle, and I'm on Instagram at instagram.com/BrendaWinkle. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you right back here next Thursday for Thursday Tip.